Hello and welcome. Coming to you from Cleveland, Ohio, and from South London. This is the Spreads of the Week, where we run you through every single NFL spread and give our opinion on which way the line's going to fall. Pleased to have Mike with me as usual here for week 5. How's it going over there, Mike?
Yeah, good. Thanks, Tom. Good. I don't know about you. It's a little bit blustery here in South London today, but quite mild. So yeah, all things going well. They're getting into the meat of the NFL season here.
Yes, always an enjoyable time of year. The leaves coming off the trees, a little blustery weather, and some milder temps welcomed by both of us, I think. And well, we started off last night with a Commanders Bears game, which had a 6-point spread for the Commanders in favor of the Commanders as home favorites. Both of us taking the Commanders on that, and with a bit of egg on our faces. But I don't know, Mike. These primetime games just getting tougher and tougher to call. You just never know what's going to happen in them.
It is tough on a short week coming into Thursday. You never really quite sure what you're going to get. I think we were sort of going back and forth on text message before before we played the game. Before we watched the game, and you made a good point. Don't really know how the Bears are going to handle the Commanders' defensive line, and to be fair, they did. They held up in pass pros, particularly in the first half, and he was really ripping it down the field. Which is, if he's given time, he's a talented player, Justin Fields.
Yeah.
You can question a lot of their offensive design. Again, I don't think the quarterback run game is fantastic. It's not very inventive. I'll wait to see what JT O'Sullivan makes of it this week. But I did see a couple of instances where it just was lined up and you could tell he was going to keep the ball and run it before they even
Yeah.
snapped it. But he's overcome all of that and gave DJ Moore a career night, 230 yards and 3 touchdowns. Commanders with some soul searching to do, I'd suggest, at 2 and 3.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. After they may well have been 3-1 had they maybe gone for 2 at the end of that Eagles game and beaten the Eagles, and now they're sitting on the back of 2 losses. Fields with enough time to make a cup of tea on some of those passes there in the first quarter. So very very odd. But yeah, another prime time random one. We'll just chalk it up to.
I think what
Um,
I think what it does show very quickly is that we should probably start taking the over on points with every game the Bears are in because they can't stop anyone. And
yeah,
if Fields is going to perform like this, they're going to be in a shootout every week. So
yeah,
I think that
absolutely.
it was comfortably over this game. I don't think the line won't have been set at 60. So yeah,
No, not at all. Yeah. All right. If we move on to the rest of the week 5 slate here, we've got
well, how did
one of
I
the
think we should probably say how we did in week number 4, Tom, because it wasn't a barnstormer for us, was it?
no 6 for me and 7 for you, both under 50% there. So on the season, you're at 53%. So if you'd bet all your money on all these games, you'd be turning a small profit there, Mike. Myself, no. I'm only at 42% on the young year, but yeah, let's look to get things back on track maybe here on week 5.
Well,
Goodness.
the good news is a quarter of what a lot of coaches say is a quarter of the way into the season, you kind of know who you are as a football team. So as fans, we
Yeah.
should sort of know who all these teams are. It might help inform some of these decisions moving forwards. Hopefully, anyway,
Yeah.
because we both need to step it up slightly. Um,
Well, here we
all right,
go.
first one.
London
I
game.
think I think you went first last week, didn't you? I think
Yeah, I did. Yeah, you can take this one.
you gamely volunteered to go first. So the Jaguares staying in London, back-to-back London games, I believe, or are they going
Yeah.
to Buffalo? Why is it this way around if they're the home team in London?
Well, the Bills have sacrificed their home game for this,
Oh, I see. Oh, I
so
see.
it just worked out that way. Yeah, it's odd.
Ah, okay, okay. Well, that makes sense instead of bringing the Jags over on 2 separate, completely separate dates.
Yeah.
So yeah, they'll be back at a silent Wembley Stadium or Tottenham. It's very quiet, these London games, no atmosphere to speak of. They obviously performed very well against the lowly Falcons. The Buffalo Bills looked excellent, I have to say, against the Dolphins in a victory last week. Despite the Jags having stayed over here, being fully acclimatized and ready to go, and the Bills, I can't remember the Bills ever having come over to London, so this will be the first time for the franchise.
Hmm.
I think I'm going to take the Bills, actually. make them a
Yep.
touchdown favorite here for my money. So I'm going to take the Bills in this one.
I like the Jags. I think they showed a lot last week and sorted some stuff out. I think defensively they're going to be pretty stout, and I think Calvin Ridley has been the acquisition of the offseason for me. Just no one seems to be able to stop him getting in the end zone these days. So I feel pretty good about them throwing the ball on this Bills secondary, which I highlighted last week as being a question area for them, and then they really showed up against the Dolphins. But just the way things have gone this year, I maybe expect them to have an off game the week after. So I think a Jags win here actually at Tottenham. Go on.
Oh wow, that'd be quite the result for you there, getting the Jags a win. I can see it. I can definitely see it. You never know how these teams are going to travel over to London, so we'll see if the Bills can figure out. Oof, goodness, things don't get any easier for the New York Giants, do they? Have at it, Tom.
Got to take the Dolphins to cover on this. I mean, you just be mad to take anything else at this point. Dolphins coming off a bad loss last week. They're certainly not going to lose 2 games in a row in that fashion, or lose at all, to be honest, based on who they're playing. So I expect a big bounce back week here from the Dolphins, and just way too much for the Giants here to be going down there and what's still going to be a pretty humid and hot atmosphere in Miami. As you said, it just goes from bad to worse here for the Giants, and the Dolphins win this by 2 touchdowns, I think.
Yeah, I'm going to agree. I think the heat is still pretty stifling down there in Miami. Dolphins need to bounce back, and I expect them to. And I just don't think schematically a man coverage heavy Wink Martindale defense matches up very well against the skill on display from Miami. I think HA, Hill, and Waddle just have way too much speed for anybody. The Giants have got a defensive back, so I can't really see, unless they spring a surprise and play more zone. I can't really see how they would really slow the Dolphins down, to be honest. And obviously, Daniel Jones hasn't played well enough to give you any confidence that he can overcome a Vic Fangio defense either. So
no, disastrous. Just looking at all the games, we've had double-digit spreads so far, and usually expecting the NFL a lot of those underdogs to cover, but there's actually been more instances of the favorites blowing people away here and covering the under on those spreads, which is interesting. So I think expect that to continue here.
Yeah, I wonder if that's just a symptom of, in the NFL, if you get a line like this, it's just all about either a replacement quarterback playing for one team, or it's a terrible quarterback playing for one team. And you can't, you can't rely on Daniel Jones to put up 35 points, which is what they would need here to compete with the Dolphins. So, Anyway, we're fairly strong on that one. So let's see if that pans out. In true spreads of the week fashion, the Giants will get a sneaky road win there just to make us look stupid.
Oh,
Titans at Colts. I think we were discussing this earlier. Probably one of our favorite divisions in football, just for the crazy games it produces. It's interesting in these games. You normally get a home favorite, and I'm normally quite happy taking the away team.
Yeah.
This is kind of the opposite. I think the Colts are a surprise home dog for me. And even though it goes against my normal AFC logic, which is the away team normally wins and they split all of these games, I'm going to say the Colts take this one with an improving Anthony Richardson getting better all the time. And Titans just look a little bit lost on offense to me. The defense is playing fine, but the offense is not doing it. So give me the Colts here.
I think so. Yep. History shows us you take the underdog in these AFC South games, and Tennessee coming off a big win last week. Indianapolis losing in heartbreaking fashion. I just see a total reversal this week, and the Colts beating the Titans by a touchdown or a field goal here. Pretty comfortable, I think. No issues with this one.
No qualms, says Thomas. So we'll move on to an AFC North battle. Also a fun division to watch normally. As I said last week, these guys like to beat up on each other. What do you got?
Not sure on the status of Kenny Pickett. Assuming he's out.
I think he's out. I think he has to be, right. I mean, that injury looked awful.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. So
it doesn't say out. It says knee.
yeah.
So should we Google that? Let's Google that because we need to be sure on that before we weigh in here. God, Ronnie Stanley is injured again for the Ravens. That's every year. That's 4 years in a row he's had an injury.
Oh, Kenny Pickett says he's ready to go Sunday. I mean, for me, nothing changes. The more things change, the more they stay the same. So Pittsburgh are going to look anemic on offense, which is not very good coming up against the Ravens, who are really acclimatizing to this new offense now. Getting Mark Andrews more involved last weekend, which is going to be key. And yeah, showed they've still got the Lamar keeping it in the goal line just to ruffle a few feathers there. When I think a lot of the Browns were expecting some halfback runs or some throws, just some design QB power there, really doing for the Browns nicely. So I think the Ravens have shown they've got everything. The Steelers, so many question marks about that offense, and I think it's quite comfy here for me. Baltimore -4.5.
It normally makes me nervous taking quite a sizable home dog in an AFC North game. But on this occasion, I'm going to agree, unfortunately, to be boring. But I agree with you. I mean, it's a good idea if you've got Mark Andrews. Even if you are using less tight ends, you should still use Mark Andrews as your best receiver. And the Ravens seem to have figured that out. So
Yeah.
I agree with what you said. That was a good call. And I just think I don't know. I just don't trust the Pittsburgh Steelers yet. They'll do some things on defense to give themselves a chance, but I think Baltimore should win by a touchdown.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a fun one. You don't see this on every year. The Texans going to the Falcons in a battle of some of the southern states of the United States here. Again, showing off my detailed American geography there.
Well, that's both these do play in the South. That's a good call there. Now, that's a tight line.
I mean, to me. Look, just to me, that seems crazy. That line, that seems crazy.
I'd expect the Texans to be favorites, but every time I think this, there's always like a reason why, and I can never put my finger on, or other than someone maybe knows something. I'm going to take the Falcons here to get back on track and cover in a home win against the Texans. I just don't think the Texans have quite enough yet to go on the road to the Dome there in Atlanta. I mean, what's usually a pretty good crowd there, and just the Falcons handle things here and keep things on track.
I'm going to disagree quite strongly, actually, Tom. Well, this will be a good one to come back to next week, circle back to and see where we got with it. But I think the sky is starting to fall a little bit for the Falcons. They got off to that hot 2-0 start, and as you know, I was never convinced by that. I just don't like the way this team is constructed at all. And Ridder doesn't look ready. There's got to be a pun in there somewhere. And by contrast, CJ Stroud has been electric the first few weeks. Dameon Pierce needs to be healthy. It looks like he's a question mark heading into this game, so that would give you some pause. But I'm going to ride the CJ Stroud train. I'm starting him in fantasy football this week, so I'm all in. I don't want to be inconsistent. I can't start him in fantasy and then pick the Falcons. So yeah, give me the Houston Texans here for the road win.
Yeah, I think the way to beat the Falcons, as you said, is just stop that run and get out to a lead, and then it's pretty much over. I just don't think the Texans have quite enough to handle them like they need to at the moment. But yeah, that's interesting. I would expect the Texans to be favorites, but yeah, sometimes it's not how it works, I suppose.
That's a fun game. I'm going to look forward to watching that one.
That would be fun.
Should be tight. Cue a blowout. Saints at Patriots. God, yeah.
Who'd want to watch this one?
I was about to say, speaking of games that are definitely going to be tight, I'm taking the under on 39.5 points too.
Oh yeah.
My goodness. Have at it, Tom. No, it's me. Is it me first?
No, oh yeah, sorry, it is you. Yeah.
It is me first. I would rather let you go first. So I'm punishing myself here. Um, wow, look, the Patriots trading for J.C. Jackson back from the Chargers. I'm sure the Chargers will be saying you can have him back. My goodness, that didn't work out at all. Mac Jones, obviously, I think everything I'm hearing, he's going to get the start. Derek Carr got a surprise start last week and played fine. Given that's a week-to-week injury, you'd have to assume he's feeling a little bit better. I mean, the quarterback play will be better from Derek Carr than it will be from Mac Jones. The Saints defense is very good, as you've been saying correctly all year, but so is the Patriots defense. And these feel like after week 5, if you said to me the Saints and the Patriots are both 2-3, that would feel right. If you said to me the Saints are 3-2 and the Patriots are 1-4, I think that seems a little much for the Saints and a little meager from the Patriots. So I'm just going to take the Pats at home just to knock a field goal win off in a really ugly game.
Yeah, that sounds good. And unsurprisingly, I'll disagree. I've been riding the Saints. They've got me a couple of handy covers this year. I'll just ride him again. With Kamara back, they definitely looked more potent on offense. That's important for them. Can't really replace him. So that was good. Carr, as you say, will be a bit healthier. I think they just have too much offensively here and get it done against the Pats. They're kind of built to play on the road a bit, the Saints, actually, unlike previous Saints teams. So I think just with a steady hand there, they handle their business and go to 3-2.
Good. Another differ.
Yeah.
We're stacking them up this season. We were a bit more in agreement last season, weren't we? So it's quite nice to have some differs. Holy Toledo, it's a big line. Panthers at Lions, Tom. What do you think?
Yeah, 10-point spread. This is one that really caught my eye earlier because I don't totally understand the double-digit aspect of this spread. It just seems a little too much to me. The Lions have been interesting this year because they've won games and kind of put teams away, and then they've also had a few gaffes and games we thought they should win. Well, certainly the game against the Seahawks thought they should win. They blew that one. I just still don't trust the Lions to win one more than 10 at the moment. I know I say this every week, but I still need to see a bit more from the Lions to make me think they're going to be Super Bowl contenders, as some people are saying. So, yeah, no problem with the Panthers here. I think they've probably got enough defensively to hold the Lions at bay and just keep it tight. I would worry a bit about the Panthers' offense, of course. You have to be worried against a relatively good Lions defense, but I think this just really stood out to me as an odd one. Just the 10 points a bit too much.
Yeah, no, give me that as well. I'll take the Panthers to cover here. They're an 0-4 team in a league that's incredibly competitive and tight in almost every game. Just feels like they're going to get a win at some point against the odds. I'm not saying that will happen here, but 10 points. I mean, instinctively, I haven't looked at the spread. I would have said 6, maybe -6 Lions.
Yeah.
In which case, I'd be happy to take the Lions. I think the Lions probably will win by a touchdown here. I just don't think they're going to win by 12 or 14 points that you need to get them the cover. So yeah, give me the
it has the makings of maybe a bit of a sleepwalk game here for the Lions, which you never know.
Also, there's just no way they're going to beat everybody by double digits. I mean, unless they're a really vintage offense, which they're a very good offense, but I mean, I just think the Panthers will hang around, as you said, make it competitive. So I'll be taking the Panthers. I can't remember. I think I might have misspoken and said the Lions before, but I'm definitely taking the Panthers, to be clear.
Yeah.
Okay. First of the late games. Lovely. I like it when the Eagles play on the West Coast and one of the only 3 or 4 teams on red zone. It means I can really focus in on red zone rather than having to flip all the time. I was looking at this earlier and I'm sweating on this one. Go on, Tom. It's you to go first.
No, it's you.
Oh, you're right. It is. Christ.
Yeah.
I still don't know. I don't think the Eagles have been sensational against the spread. I think they're 1-3, or are they 2-2 now? Maybe they're 2-2. Do they blow the Rams out? My gut says no at the moment. So I think Cooper Kupp's going to be back. I can see the Eagles going there and kicking a field goal to win it, as we did last week. I think that's what I'm going to go for. I don't think we're in the kind of momentum where we go across the country and kick someone's ass. So I'm going to say Rams.
Yeah, that's interesting. You mentioned against the spread because the Rams are the only team that haven't lost a spread this year. They're 3-0-1 against the spread.
Interesting.
Yeah, it is a cross-country game. I'll be tempted to take the Eagles because the Eagles have won all their games, if I'm not wrong, by more than 4 points.
Not last week.
Even though the games have been close, the wins have been relatively big in the end. But yeah, I think as long as until the Rams don't cover a spread, you'd have to take the only team to go undefeated on the spread, and that's the Rams. So give me the Rams as well, just on that logic.
Well, the Eagles will drop a game they shouldn't drop as well at some point.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm hoping it's not here because our schedule gets brutal in the middle of the season. But I thought it might be last week against the Commanders, as I said, and I was almost proved right. And we're not in that kind of good place where we're going to hammer the Rams. So yeah, let's see.
No.
Let's see on that one. This is a fun one actually. In the dome in Phoenix. This is I'll be honest, Glendale. What am I talking about? I'll be watching this one with keen interest. It says Arizona +3 here, but it's gone a bit wacky. Is that right, Tom?
Yeah, I've got +3 as well. Yeah. I was looking at this and just thinking I don't want to touch this at all because I just don't know what these two teams are going to do. This is mad.
I want to watch it. I'm really enjoying watching the Cardinals this year, but sorry, I'm talking over you, but I have no idea.
No, I think the Bengals are a team that kind of specialize in the field goal win. So if I did take this, I'd probably take Arizona +3.5. With the spread at 3, I'm not too happy about it, but I've got to pick it. So I'll just take Arizona 3. They covered all the spreads until their mishap on the road at San Francisco last week, which is, you could maybe say that is a blip. It's a hard game. So I think they cover another here. And Bengals team that hasn't shown me anything to make me want to bet on them so far. So it's a cards cover for me.
Yeah. In these kind of competitions, I'm going to employ a bit of game theory here. At some point, I have to pick against you to gain any kind of advantage. And my gut, I think, is kind of saying exactly what you were saying. But I think this might be a good opportunity to take a swing on a talented Bengals roster that must click into gear at some point, surely. So I'm just going to say the Bengals are too good of a team to keep up this slide that they're in. And it just feels like a nice get-right game against weaker opposition. They haven't got to get in a fist fight with an AFC North opponent. They can go there and play quite an open offensive game in a dome, which should suit Burrow. So I'm just going to, for no real reason, I'm just going to say Bengals here.
Bengals, they've shown the habit of being able to figure things out in seasons past. So that's fine. So I can see that happening. I still don't think Burrow's 100% though, which is my concern.
Yeah, definitely. 100% I agree with you. I think I've picked against them the last 2 weeks, and it's done well for me. So it's kind of strange to pick with them this time, but I'm going to go for it. I think I might have picked them last week, but anyway. All right. Cool. This is going to be tight line. My goodness, tight line. I wasn't expecting that.
It's a tight line. I think just being at Minnesota is probably the reason. Second game on the road for the Chiefs. Maybe that's played into it a bit as well. Yeah, this is tough. This is very tough. I think the Chiefs are going to affect Cousins a bit in this and maybe not give up the points that the spread thinks they are going to with that overset at 52 there. I think it could be a tighter game than that. And I think I'm not sure the Vikings will be able to stop us offensively at all. I think as much as I would usually take the Vikings as a home dog, because it is a tough place to play, and they usually, if they lose at home, it is going to be a narrow loss. But the Chiefs have covered the last two. Oh, no, they haven't. Sorry, the Chiefs. They were big favorites last week. They didn't cover. I'll just take the Chiefs just because I just can't trust the Vikings. But yeah, I expect almost to be wrong on this. I feel like if you differ, this might be an interesting one.
No, I'm afraid I can't. I think I've picked against the Vikings every game this season, and it's done really well for me. They've kind of shown what I thought of them last year. They flattered to deceive last year and got away with it in some tight games, and I think the chicken's got them to roost now. To me though, the thing here is schematic. I think the Vikings' real strength is obviously Justin Jefferson in the passing game, but I think the Chiefs have shown an ability to take some of that away. They're doing well against the pass this year, and there's nothing on the ground from the Vikings that would worry me as the Chiefs' defense. Steve Spagnuolo over there as DC. I wouldn't honor the run at all, so they can get quite exotic with their coverages and try and disrupt Cousins. And then I think Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes. I don't think he throws more interceptions than touchdowns in back-to-back games. And I think he comes here and gets the job done by a touchdown. So yeah, give me the Chiefs too.
Yeah, touchdown sounds about right. Yeah,
not a blowout. Not a blowout.
I know. I have a bit of trepidation about this just because it's, I don't know, second game on the road, home.
I really like the Chiefs defense this year. Setting the total points line at 52 suggests you think the Vikings are going to score. The bookmakers think the Vikings are going to score 26 points against the Chiefs, and I don't.
No, I agree. It's too high.
Yeah, so that might be one I look at just on the points, in fact, because I just don't buy that at all.
Yeah.
So then we're off to Denver, Colorado for
dear.
Probably the least watchable game of the week, potentially.
Yeah, I think so. It has to be. All right, you got to pick it, unfortunately. God.
I'm going to go with the Jets, actually. There isn't anything that I've seen from the Denver Broncos to convince me that they should be favored in any game at the moment. Some of this Zach Wilson is, as the quarterback, is definitely hurting the Jets in the spreads here. But I thought he played well against the Chiefs, who are a much better defense than the Broncos. The Broncos are on course to be the worst defense in NFL history at the moment, just purely in the amount of yardage given up. And interestingly, I read an article the other day, Sean Payton has overseen 4 of the 5 worst defensive performances in the last 20 years or something as Saints head coach. So maybe a pattern emerging there. I think the Jets come in and win this game, actually. I think they can get Breece Hall really moving against this terrible Broncos defense. And all Zach Wilson will have to do is manage it. And he's actually, this season, he's showing more of a willingness to do that rather than try and be a hero. So, I just think the Jets have just got a sneaky feeling. And that defense is going to give Russell Wilson problems. That defense is legit. I'm starting them in fantasy this week. I expect a good result against Wilson.
Yeah, no, good stat line there from Wilson so far, but probably expect that to not be as walk in a park as it's been against this defense for sure. I'm going to differ. Just take the Broncos here. I think Zach Wilson on the road at Mile High is a recipe for disaster. He still has the old boneheaded play in where he's going to run around and lose about 20 yards or something. He'll just throw a stupid ball up. I think the Broncos have just enough to get this done. It's not going to be pretty by any means, but I think the Broncos just kind of figure this out and get back to maybe some more conservative play. They get the defense going a bit more at home against this offense. And I just like the line as well, under a field goal. So I just need the field goal win here. I'm happy with that.
Fair enough. All completely logical. I was just admiring Nikki Kosmider's story here about Randy Gregory. I'm going to give that a read after we're done here, Tom, being the latest of why anybody would gamble on Randy Gregory at this stage of his career.
Yeah.
What were they thinking? Goodness
That
me.
is odd. Yeah.
Um,
Right.
I'll be checking that out after this. Dallas Cowboys at San Francisco 49ers. This is actually a rare instance of a primetime game that I'm really excited about.
Yeah.
This should be a good one. We have kind of alluded to what I think we're both going to do in this game. And it's you to pick first, I think.
Yeah, it is. Yep. So not sure the Cowboys stop the ground game. Tackling Deebo Samuel is going to be an issue for them as well. The Niners are 3-1 against the spread so far this year. So I would take the Niners to cover this -3.5 here. Control the line of scrimmage, control the tempo, and just do what the Cowboys hate, which is just pound them and out physical them, as they say here in America. So I think that's a nice cover there for the Niners, 3.5. I understand why the spread is this close, but the Cowboys are already showing the propensity to really lay eggs on the road here early on in the season. So I think this is a touchdown Niners win for me.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Cowboys are really getting into the tough part of their schedule now. To drop a game here against a very good 49ers team would be on the road would be no shame at all. The Eagles are going to come up. They'll still be extremely competitive with the Philadelphia Eagles in the East. This is kind of where their season really starts, to be honest. The Cowboys, they haven't really played anyone. And I think that will kind of hurt them a little bit here. San Francisco at home will prove to be a really tough ask, I think. One interesting thing for me will be Brock Purdy against this Dallas Cowboys pass rush. Shanahan does leave his quarterbacks a little bit exposed on the edges. A lot of deep drops from under center, not a lot of chip blocking going in there. It's very that's why they have so many quarterback injuries, really. So I think he would be advised to do some of that against this Cowboys team. If they don't, it could get ugly. But I think the Niners. The thing is, I think the Niners will just run it 70% of the time because the Cowboys have never shown any ability to stop it before when they've played these two teams. So, give me the Niners too by a touchdown at home.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense to me.
So then we are looking at Monday Night Football.
Oh, I say Raiders. The Raiders on prime time in back-to-back weeks. Goodness.
This is a contender. Well, that seems to be what they're doing this year. If you play a Thursday night game, you automatically then get the Monday night game for the extended rest. Yeah. So it doesn't matter how terrible your team is, you get 2 primetime games in a row. And as you know, I'm not a big fan of this Raiders team. So it's
no. I'm a bit surprised by this spread.
Yeah, I would have made the Raiders a field goal favorite probably for me.
No, they'd be an underdog for me.
Is Garoppolo not healthy still?
I just looked it up. They said he's in the final stage of concussion protocol. There's no word yet on if he'll play. That wouldn't affect it for me. I just don't know why the Raiders would be favorite.
I understand. I'm going to take the Packers. They got embarrassed. They got embarrassed last week by the Lions. They've got a point to prove. Love actually played better in the second half of that game and their comeback win against the Saints the week before that. So he hasn't completely capitulated. I think some of the narrative around him is he's a bust and they're going to move on from him. And actually, when you look at his play over the course of 4 quarters in those games, he's significantly better in the second half, and he actually hasn't been a disaster. It's the Packers' defense has been terrible, but if the Raiders aren't going to be starting Garoppolo, that should give them a chance to get right here. So give me the Packers.
Yeah, I couldn't say it better myself, really. I thought the Raiders might have a bit more this year, but they have been maybe my disappointment. The the defense maybe hasn't shown up as much, and they still can't get Josh Jacobs going at all. So the things they had going for them last year in terms of pressuring the QB and being able to run the ball have really not materialized at all, which is odd. For that, this is surprising. I thought the Packers should be a 2-point favorite here for me. Pretty impressed with what they've done so far. Like all your points about Love, that makes sense. So yeah, until the Raiders show me something, I'll take the Pack here.
It's very Josh McDaniels, what has happened at the Raiders. He inherited a team from John Gruden and that crew that was very good on the defensive line, and could really run the football, and had a quarterback that knew how to take care of the football. And they've now gone to turnover machine Jimmy Garoppolo. They can't run the ball, and the defensive line is a mess, apart from Max Crosby, who's an all-world player. But apart from him, it's a bit of a mess. So he always seems to do this when he gets his head coaching opportunities. He just comes in and completely blows the roster up for no reason. So yeah, definitely
the Midas touch.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, well, that wraps it up. That was
we fairly rattled through those, Tom. So we've done well.
Oh, good. Yeah, but both of us feeling quite strongly on some of these. Some strong differs this week, so that was very enjoyable.
Yeah, I am going to be abroad next week, but I will try and dial in by phone potentially. So if not, the fair viewers may just have to deal with just your dulcet tones next week, I think, Tom. But to be confirmed at a later date.
Yep, sounds good. Enjoy the games, and until then, go well.
Go well.